Hey everyone. Okay, so today I want to talk about how to develop or strengthen your intuition. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about what is this thing called intuition. It's a bit of a buzzword. It's something that's become more and more popular over the last probably 10 or 20 years as people really get into these more spiritual or Eastern traditions. The idea of intuition, I would say, has become more popular and become quite a bit more mainstream. Okay, so what is this? So, first of all, I just want to say a lot of these views are my own. Obviously, this is something that has been studied, but it's more personal experience and talking and reading books and just your own journey. So I'm sharing mostly from that. But intuition is similar to what you'd call like a gut instinct, right? We've all had those moments when maybe we're driving a car or going somewhere and thinking, I gotta phone this person, or I gotta go this way right now. I don't know why, but I gotta go this way, or I need to stop suddenly right now, and then a car goes right through and would have hit you, things like that. So they can be this gut instinct or this little intuitive hit, an idea, an inspiration to do something, and it's oftentimes not your mind. So there's an interesting thing there I'll talk about in a second. So I believe that we all have this innately in us, this intuitive kind of side that can help guide, that we can listen to, that I believe is actually a part of us, connected to divine God source, maybe that higher part, the soul level that's kind of trying to come in and live more from that side of life. That's what I've found anyway, and I believe that to be true. Um, but I think we all have it, but some people have it maybe a little easier, or it's easier thing to grasp potentially. So some people, specifically those that maybe identify as a highly sensitive person, an empath, someone more on that side that's very in tune with feelings and thoughts and that or more feelings, that side of life. Sometimes, usually, they're a little more naturally intuitive. Okay? Again, I believe we all have this, we can all develop it, and it's something that is beneficial, I believe, for life. And I actually really believe that it's possible to live through this largely in your life, almost from that kind of soul level. So I'll be sharing my experience with that as well as I went on my path. Um, and like I said, connected, what did I say here? Connected to, yeah, the spiritual side, our higher self, or divine part, however you view that. There's definitely a spiritual component to it. Also, on that side, a lot of people in spiritual traditions talk about the intuition being connected to our pineal gland, which in a lot of spiritual circles, if you've seen in the East, you've heard about like the chakras from the yogic tradition where you see people sitting cross-legged and then these like seven colors, right? The chakras, different energy centers. So in that tradition, it's connected to the third eye, which is right between the eyes here, and the pineal is located obviously in the brain, in kind of that area, above in that area. So that's just an interesting potential connection. There's also been connections with the pineal to our cerebral spinal fluid. That's another conversation, but it has to do with this very anatomical liquid that flows and surrounds all our nerves in our brain, our spinal cord. So there's some connections to that, potentially to the pineal, which so there's some interesting connections with science that merge into this more alternative field as well. So that's kind of what it is. So how do I strengthen it? So first of all, right off the top, and it sounds like a cliche answer, but just practice, like anything, practice. And so the more you try it, fail, quote unquote, or try something and then, oh, that was just my mind, don't beat yourself up. Slowly learn to trust, okay, as you go through it, but practice is the big thing. Firstly, well, I guess secondly, but firstly, I want to say too, one of the toughest parts I found, and you definitely hear from people often, is differentiating your mind and your thoughts versus intuitive nudge. And so, a really important thing when you're strengthening your intuition is to be able to separate those two. And so, the first thing I'd say on this is how to strengthen it, other than just try it, practice, practically, is to do something that calms your system down into a state where you can actually hear those intuitive thoughts and those nudges versus just your mind flying, I gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. Because it can be really easy to not differentiate those two and just go with the mind. And then, oh, that wasn't a good thing or whatever, right? You start to analyze it. And so, whatever that looks like for you, that could be prayer, meditation, stillness, being in nature, doing a task that you can kind of turn your brain off, and that helps you to balance. Watching a game, whatever it is for you, that helps you kind of really balance out. Because from that place, then you can move forward. I would say also it's really important to know, and this is more personal experience, but I found that intuition usually is the opposite of what the mind says. And so, for example, this morning for me, there was a yoga class. My mind was like, oh, I don't want to go to that. I don't really know how I want to do this back to back. There's two things. But I just slowed down and I kind of heard and sensed, oh, it's a good thing. And I even asked my body, what do you want? Yeah, you want? Okay, let's do it. And it was great. It was exactly what I needed. It was perfect. It made my day flow. There you go. But my brain was trying to analyze it. So usually if it's an intuitive hit, often your brain will try to break it down and try to figure out, well, why does that make sense? Or it doesn't make any sense at all. So it'll be opposite what your mind's saying. You know you're kind of on the right track then often. Not always, but that's something that I've found to be pretty true, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of use that as a bit of a guide. That might just be my experience, but I think that's quite universal. So clear your mind. And then practically with experimenting with these things. So for example, be okay with being wrong. Okay? Be okay with thinking, okay, my intuition's got to be this way, doing that thing, and then being like, wow, that didn't turn out good, or it didn't feel like it went the way it should have, quote unquote, which doesn't necessarily mean it's not intuition, but be okay with being wrong. And so again, going back to the practice idea, here's an example from my life from years ago. So I started trying to eat intuitively. So kind of what my body wanted, but also just like going by what I sensed. So my mind was like, I just had beef for lunch. I should have chicken for dinner, or for the next day. I should have chicken for the next morning. And so I was going to get something out of the freezer. And so I thought, okay, so what do I have? Do I get chicken or beef out? And my mind was going beef. Beef sits better. It's better for digestion. Historically, it's better. I kind of wanted it at that time. But my intuition was saying, no, fish. I was like, okay, let's just try this. Let's just go with the fish. If tomorrow, I really want a chicken at this time and it was wrong, then I know not to listen to that voice. And so I took fish out. I just went with it, took it out, put it in the fridge. And the next morning I completely felt like fish. I wanted something lighter. Beef was too heavy. And I think there was another reason that really practically it actually wasn't a good thing to have beef. So that was interesting. So that's an example. Other times, like I've sensed something and then done it and then went, wow, that was not my intuition. Like that was really, or like I sensed, in that example, I sensed fish and I took out beef. And the next morning came along and I was like, man, I really just wanted something lighter. I don't feel like cooking this, frying this up. Just like put it in the oven, it's easier. All of these different things just line up. And so that's an example. Be okay with being wrong though. So in that situation, if I would have chosen beef, and this is coming from someone who is very hard on himself historically, it's easy to beat yourself up and say, oh, I should have chose this. I screwed it up. I messed. It's a practice. Okay. And I'm saying this to myself as much as you. It's okay. Be easy on yourself. You're learning, you're growing, you're moving forward. You're experimenting with bringing this kind of soul level living into your life and listening to these nudges and really making your decisions based not just on this, but bringing this into the conversation. And so be easy on yourself with it too. Okay. And then look back. Sometimes even write it down. If you don't remember, just write it down. Like, okay, I sensed this, chose this was the result. This is how I felt. Okay, so that when I hear that, in that state of being relaxed, this is what I sensed. Oh, I was really amped up when I made that choice, or anxious, worried. I was angry, irritated, and I did that thing. Oh, maybe that was just my mind. I was playing out an emotional pattern. So that's the key thing, again, to be really balanced. On that note, I will say one more thing on the balance. One way to do it too is if you're really emotionally all over the place, there's physical exercise and movement. But again, I talk a lot about it on this channel. Tapping is an extremely powerful way to balance your emotions. So what I mean by tapping, I'll put some videos below, but basically you're just tapping on certain points. It's also called emotional freedom technique, or EFT is a common one. I use a model by a lady named Donna Eden, slightly different than that, but a similar idea. But basically, you're just tapping on points and helps clear emotion really easily. It has psychological aspects to it, but it also works with the energy pathways in the body, the meridians, the same as acupuncture. Okay? So just that's one way really fast to kind of get yourself in a balanced state. There's other ones I talk about too. There's a ton of them. Middle finger in your belly button and your eye, slightly push in and up, and just hold that, and your shoulder, your shoulders will drop, and that's a good way to balance as well, and you'll feel grounded. Or just go outside and ground. Okay. So that's a bit of an overview of how to strengthen it. You just do that over and over and experiment. And the more you tune into that, the more it's like you honor that side and it comes forward and becomes stronger in your life. Here are 2 questions you can ask. And I feel like I should just ask the second one, but you can say, what do I need right now? Be in a balanced space. What do I need right now? Kind of listen and hear that. But I really feel like I need to say this next one. And this is more, I would say this question I'm going to say here is a little less intuition, a little more like tuning in to your soul level almost, which is kind of the same thing. I see it almost, asking this question is almost like asking like your higher self or your soul, or God divine, however you see this question. But I heard Lee Harris, the empath and channeler, check him out. He's great online. He's an amazing person. But he asked this question oftentimes when he's introducing people to channeling or kind of connecting to their soul more in that way. He says, here's the question. So you can ask yourself this right now. What does my soul want to tell me right now? And sometimes that can be really emotional. What does my soul want to tell me right now? So ask yourself that. Close your eyes for a second if you want. Say, what does my soul want to tell me right now? And for the sake of length here, I'll start talking again now, but you can sit with that after the video here too. And don't analyze it. Let it come. It might just be like, go outside. It might be have some food. It might be watch a funny movie, whatever, or just be easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, or it's all good. It's often a very simple statement. I find soul level stuff like that, divine, God, it's usually not complicated. It's usually just like, relax. For me, it's often relax. Just take it easy. Enjoy the journey, like that kind of thing. Okay, so there's 2 questions. What do I need right now? What does my soul to tell me right now? Slightly different than intuition, but it's linked in. Okay, I hope that helps. That was fun. And give it a try. And this is a huge part of my life and something I'm very passionate about, helping people develop and work with and bring this into their healing journeys in their life, and their digestive paths and their healing paths, and digestive healing paths, and these various parts of life for many people. So for everybody at various degrees, right? And so I think this is a big part of where we're going moving forward as a world. We're bringing more of this into our life and living from this level, and so yeah, I want to make more content on this and help people more with it. So leave some comments. Let me know if you want to know more about this side of things or any side of things around health and wellness. And have a great day. Awesome.